Hello everyone, I'm Sir Jaymar Bohol, your grade 7 math teacher. Today, I'm going to discuss on perform operations on rational numbers for quarter 1, week 5. Learning objective. At the end of the discussion, you will be able to perform operations on rational numbers. How to add or subtract similar fractions. In adding or subtracting similar fractions, add or subtract the numerator and copy the common denominator, then reduce to lowest term if possible. Example, number 1, 5/4 plus 6/4 is equal to, just observe they have the same denominator, just copy the common denominator, that is 4, then add the numerators, that is 5 plus 6, that is 11, then copy the denominator 4, so you have now 11/4. In adding or subtracting similar fractions, add or subtract the numerator and copy the common denominator, then reduce to lowest term if possible. Example, number 1, 2 and 4/6 minus 2/6. We observe that the given problem there is a mixed fraction. Change this to improper fraction. So the mixed fraction, you are going to copy the denominator, that is 6. Then in the numerator, multiply 6 times 2. Then the answer is 12. Then 12 plus 4, the answer is 16. You have now 16/6. So 16/6 minus 2/6 is equal to, you observe that they have the same denominator, just copy the common denominator, that is 6. Now you are going to subtract the numerator, that is 16 minus 2. So you will have now the answer 14/6. Then 14/6 is not the lowest term. You are going to reduce this to the lowest term. So you are going to find the greatest common factor. So what is the greatest common factor of 14 and 6? So you are going to use the prime factorization. So what is the factor of prime factorization of 14? That is 2 times 7. In 6, that is 2 times 3. Then they have common factors, that is 2. This will be our GCF is 2. Now, the GCF is 2, you can divide this from the answer. So 14 divide 2 and 6 divide 2, you have now the answer 7/3. Now 7/3, simplify this to mixed fraction, it will become 2 and 1/3. Then this will be the final answer. How to add or subtract dissimilar fractions. In adding or subtracting dissimilar fractions, change them to equivalent fractions by finding the less common denominator or LCD, then apply the rules in adding subtracting fractions with the same denominators. Then reduce to lowest term. Example, number 1, 3/4 plus 1/6 is equal to, so they have different denominator, so you're going to find the LCD. To find the LCD, you are going to use the multiples of 4 and 6. The multiple of 4 are 4, 8, 12, 16, and so on. The multiple of 6 are 6, 12, 18, 24. Now, observe this multiple. What number do they have in common? That is 12. This will be your LCD. This LCD is your denominator, that is 12. The first part of your fraction, to get the answer on the numerator, use the 3/4 in the given problem. So, use the denominator 12, divide it by 4 in the denominator. The answer is 3, and 3 multiply it in the numerator, 3. The answer is 9. Now, the second part of your fraction, to get the answer in the numerator, you are going to use 1/6. So, start with the denominator 12. So, 12 divide 6, that is 2. Now, the answer 2, multiply it by 1 in the numerator. So, you have now the answer 2. So, you are going to add this, and then you have now the final answer. 9 plus 2 over 12, you have now 11/12. And the other way of solving is you are going to use the LCD, that is 12, as your starting point. So to change the equivalent fraction, use the LCD as your denominator. So you have now the 12 as your starting point. So 3/4. So your target is to achieve the denominator of 12. You are going to multiply by your 4, multiply it by a number that the answer is 12, that is 3. Then use this in the numerator. Multiply it also by 3. So 3 times 3, that is 9. Now you have the first part of your fraction, 9/12. Then the second parts will be use again the denominator 12 as your starting point. Now you have to use the 1/6 in the given problem to change this to equivalent fraction. Okay, what number that multiply to 6? The answer is 12, that is 2. Now you can also use this in the numerator. So that is 1 times 2, the answer is 2. You have now the second part of the equivalent fraction, that is 2/12. Since we have now the equivalent fraction, then add the two fractions. The answer is 11/12. So you can use in any solution. Okay. Subtract dissimilar fractions. Example number 1, 4/8 minus 5/12. Observe in the denominator they have different denominator. So find the LCD. So use the multiples of 8 and 12. So the multiples of 8 are 8, 16, 24, 32, and so on. The multiples of 12, 12, 24, 36, and so on. Is there any number have in common? Yes, they have a number in common, that is 24. This will be your LCD. LCD is 24. Use this as your denominator, that is 24. To change the equivalent fraction, use the LCD as your denominator. Then 24. To get the answer in the numerator, so you are going to use again the given problem. The first fraction of that is 4/8. So 8 multiply a number, the result is 24. What number is this? That is 3. So multiply 3 in the denominator. You can also multiply 3 in the numerator. So 4 times 3 is 12. You have now the answer in the numerator, 12. So the first part of your fraction is 12 over 24. The second part of your fractions, use the LCD 24 as your denominator to find the numerator, the answer. So you are going to use the second part in the given problem, that is 5/12. So 5/12, you are going to multiply the denominator 12 by a number that the result of this will be 24. What number is this? So the number is 2. So if you are going to multiply 2 in the denominator, then use this also in the numerator. So times 2. So 5 times 2 is 10. Now you have now the fractions, 10 over 24, as your second part of your answer. Now, they are in similar fractions, then subtract 12 minus 10 over 24. You have now the answer, 2 over 24. Then reduce this to the lowest term, then find the GCF of 2 and 24. To find the GCF of 2 and 24, that is, use the prime factors. The prime factors of 2, that is 2 times 1. The prime factors of 24, that is 2 times 2 times 2 times 3. So the numbers they are in common, that is, yes, correct, that is 2. So that is your GCF, the greatest common factor. That you can use this 2 to divide 2 in the numerator and divide 2 in the numerator. You can divide in numerator and denominator. The answer is 2 divided 2 is 1. Then 24 divided 2, that is 12. You have now the final answer, 1/12. How to multiply fractions. To multiply fractions, multiply the numerators and multiply the denominators. Then reduce the product to lowest terms. In symbols, A over B times C over D is equal to AC over BD, where BD is not equal to 0, so that it will not be undefined. Example, number 1, 3/4 times 5/6 is equal to, you are going to multiply first the numerator to numerator, then multiply denominator to denominator. So written in 3 times 5 and 4 times 6. You have now the answer, 15 over 24. So reduce this to lowest term. So to reduce in lowest term, find the GCF of 15 and 24. So prime factors, use prime factors. That is, in prime factors of 15, 5 times 3. Prime factors of 24, that is 2 times 2 times 2 times 3. So the GCF is the numbers that are in common, that is 3. So you have now GCF is 3. You can now divide 15 by 3 and 24 by 3. Then the final answer is 5/8. How to divide fractions. To divide fractions, you take the reciprocal of the second fraction or divisor and multiply it by the first fraction or dividend. Dividend divide divisor equals quotient. In symbols, A over B divides C over D is equal to A over B times D over C is equal to AD over BC, where your BC is not equal to 0, so that it will not be undefined. Example number 1. 4/5 divide 2/3 is equal to, you are going to get the reciprocal of the divisor of the given problem. 2/3 will become 3/2. Now, change the operation of division to multiplication. It will become times. Now, you are going to multiply numerator to numerator, that is 4 times 3, and another multiply denominator 5 to another denominator, so 5 times 2. So you have now 12 over 10. Then reduce this to lowest term. This is not the final answer yet. Then find the GCF of 12 and 10. Now use the prime factors of 12 and 10, that is the prime factors of 12, that is 2 times 2 times 3. The prime factors of 10, that is 2 times 5. Then they are in common in their prime factors, that is 2. They are common in this number. Then that will be your GCF is 2. The GCF is 2 that can divide the numerator and then can divide also the denominator. So 12 divide 2 over 10 divide 2, the final answer is 6 over 5. Answer the following problem from 1 to 4. This is the answer of the problem 1 to 4. If you got the correct answer, very good. Answer the following learning tasks of MDL and ODL. This is the end of my lesson. Goodbye to everyone.